It is a little before 4 o'clock on September 14th. We're at King's Contrivance in Columbia, Maryland. We've shot about half the day so far, a little more than half actually. We've shot the bar scenes with Kessler and Tokaz, and we shot the first date scene with Sonny and Leon.
And it went smashingly well except for the last scene. The last scene went very, very well. It was shot very well. It was very stressful. See, the thing is, when you're dealing with independent filmmaking, you don't have time or the money to build sets. You've got to beg, borrow, and steal. You have to get whatever you can. In the case of this location today, this is a restaurant that was kind enough to open its doors to us. They open at 4 o'clock, so the staff needs to come in at 3. And they let us shoot from, I guess it was 8 in the morning until 3 when the staff came in. And then at 8 o'clock, an hour prior to closing, they're letting us come back to do yet more filming. So the situation was, we had a call time for 8 o'clock and we had to meet our day. We had 3 very long scenes that needed to be shot. They need to be done from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m.
Alright, it is almost 8:30 in the morning. We're here at King's Contrivance restaurant. They've given us our place till, I think, 3 o'clock? Right, 3 o'clock. So we're setting up for the restaurant scene. We got people setting up, trash bag and windows. We got somebody setting up a crane. I'm setting up camera. Mike's doing the lights. Eric's running around doing everything that he can. Brian's doing everything he can. Prepping the bar. Having a few drinks like a scrub. So good to go.
The problem is that you can schedule a scene and say, well, this is going to take 2 hours to shoot, and that means it's going to take 3 because something will go wrong. Something always goes wrong.
Something will always go wrong.
And you'll plan the shots, you'll plan everything that you need to do, and then you'll get there and you will see that something doesn't work. Something that you had planned out is not going to work. It's not going to photograph correctly. It's not going to edit correctly. You planned on having 20 extras, you only had 5. There are always things that are going to happen. I think everything went really, really well. It's just that we began to fall behind schedule, and by the time we got to the final scene of the day, which was the most important of the 3 and required the most in terms of performance, we were literally racing the clock. We were literally trying to race against time, and we were just running out of it. It became very, very stressful. I know. I was sweating bullets.
We actually ended up cutting one of our reverse wide shots and focusing on like a mock Steadicam, like handheld shot.
Because we didn't need it. I wanted it for coverage, right. But the idea was if we had it, it would be just one more option for editing. And that's the other thing. When, again, you're dealing with independent filmmaking, it's not like you have the money and the resources to say, okay, well, for the next 6 months, I'm going to sit in a room with my actors and we're going to do nothing but rehearse. And I'm going to do nothing but work with my DP on all of the camera movements and everything. It literally becomes a situation where you show up on the day. You try to prepare as much as you can in advance, but you show up on the day and you have to figure it out then and there. Again, if you're using a restaurant like we're using today, you might be able to check the location and do a scout a couple days before, but it's not like you can knock down this wall or you can build a fireplace over there or something like that. So you have to get in there and sort of fly by the seat of your pants, and it became a situation where we walked in, we needed to figure out how to light, we needed to figure out where to put the cameras, and I'm sitting down with the actors for the first time and saying, this is what's going on, and this is what you're thinking, and that's what he's thinking, and this is what needs to go on. And there are things that I've had in my head since I wrote it, but I'm communicating with the actors for the first time, other than in a general sort of sense. Now I'm talking about it specifically.
Luckily for us, we have actors who don't need a lot of hand-holding and a lot of coaching. They pretty well get the character, and whatever Eric tells them, they just take it. They don't need a lot of compromise or anything like that.
It was a really fantastic situation because I can't think of a single actor who's involved in this film who isn't very intuitive by nature. And by intuitive, I mean that they read the script and they come prepared. And it's not just that they understand the lines. They say, okay, well, this character is saying this and doing this because this is who they are and this is what they're thinking, this is what they're feeling. They understand what's on the page and they can draw from that. I mean, everybody has been fantastic. I've been working the most with Mike Baldwin and Corinne Kimball, and they've just been fucking fantastic. And I've just started working with Will Hazza and with Troy Russell and with Ali Lukowski, Frank Mormon. I mean, I'm starting to work with everybody at this point. Actors like Mark Kilbane, who we shot all the Office stuff with last week. And not only was he fantastic, and I didn't need to do retake after retake, but I'm sitting down to cut, I'm sitting down to do all the edits, and I'm saying to myself, oh my God, he was so prepared. his face, he has the same expression every single time. I mean, every single time he says that line, he's making that face. Or his hands are in this place. He's so prepared that I'm cutting, and it's so easy. It's effortless.
Yeah, the actors, they've been very on point, to the point where all the takes and the retakes, it's not because of them, it's mostly technical stuff like, oh, we got to practice this focus pull, or we want to move the camera here or there. Most of the time, I'd say like 95% of the time, it's retakes, or it's just, for us, for safety, for coverage.
Okay.
Cut. Reset.
Then you have other actors like Jan David Suter's helping casting. He knows the film process, so he's like, well, you check this audio. Is this in the shot?
He's a fantastic resource to have on set because he's incredibly positive, and he's saying, you need actors? Here, I can help you find people. You need locations? I can help you find people. He is a valuable asset to this production, and it's been fantastic. And I just want to say, I feel sometimes like I'm giving you a blast of shit, and I never mean to, but the fact is, for me at least, this is the first film that I've directed. I mean, it's the first feature film that I've ever directed, but it's the first project I've ever done where we're not just shooting on video. We're not just using some stock mini DV camera where, you put it on autofocus, or even if you put it on manual focus, there's not a lot of, complicated focus pulling.
Depth of field.
Exactly. There's no depth of field. I haven't used a film camera since film school. So here we are, and we're shooting on the HVX 200A. And we're shooting in high def with 35mm lens attachment. So you've got depth of field. It looks like 35mm film, and suddenly, as a filmmaker, I can do 100 million things that I didn't do before. We can pull focus. We can guide the eyes of the viewer through the scene to see certain elements, rather than having to do direct cuts in the editing room. Suddenly, we're able to do the same things and accomplish the same goals just by pulling focus and moving the elements within the frame. And so things take 10 times longer when you're dealing with that. And that can become sort of a frenzy on set. And so I never mean to be giving you crap when I'm going, we got to move faster, we have to move faster, because the work he's doing, I've never worked with a DP who was this good and was this dedicated. And I mean that, seriously.
Appreciate it. There was a scene we did with Mike Baldwin and Corinne Kimball where the character Dean is laying on the bed and he's got something wrong. He's talking to Corinne out, in the doorway. We didn't do any cuts whatsoever in that scene. We literally just rack focused back and forth, and these are huge focus pulls, hitting the marks every time. I mean, it took a few takes, but it's 10 times harder, but it's also the payoff is 10 times better, and it's really what's going to make this film.
That was good. That was good.